welcome to Literacy Night. I'm Mackenzie Lemke and I teach kindergarten right across right over there. And we're going to be kind of talking about decoding with Scarborough's reading rope. We're going to focus on the bottom half of it as Amanda touched on earlier. And our goals we're going to talk about is we want to understand what decoding is and then learn different ways to practice decoding at home.
Alright, so our first goal is asking ourselves, what is decoding? So decoding is the process of sounding out an unfamiliar word that's written. So that's basically a fancy way to say it's reading. Used to, we would learn to read by kind of using picture clues or using sentence clues, but we really want to teach kids to use the sounds that they know and to blend those together to read. So for example, if they look at this word, they don't know the word, but they know the sounds pot, and then they can blend that together. So how do we practice that in the classroom? One of the fun ways that we do it is we use these magnetic trays. So they look like this. Anything that students can touch and manipulate or put their hands on is just going to be more engaging for the students and help them learn things better. So this actually practices decoding and encoding, so reading and spelling. So for example, we would tell the students to build the word pot, and then they would practice their spelling by going pot, p, pull down the P, pull down the O, t, pull down the T, pot. And then we can practice decoding by having them change a certain sound. So we would say, change your first sound from p to p. So they would take away the P and they would add an H, and then they have to decode by reading their new word. Hot. And then we go back and forth between decoding and encoding. This can also help if you have something like this at home. It doesn't even have to be a magnetic tray. It could just be your letters out. Practicing letter ID, they can go through and just say the letter names or go through and say the letter sounds. We also use something called a roll and read, and so this has a list of words that have sounds that we have already learned in class, and students love this because they get to roll a dice, and then whatever number they land on, they come down and they read the word, and then after they read it, they can color it, and then they just keep going, and then they read the whole page.
And if you don't have a dice at home, you can always just have them read the words, working on sounding it out and becoming more fluent. And so I'm Mrs. Stevens, and I also teach kindergarten. And so, did I go back? Did I go the wrong way?
There you go. Oh,
there we go. Okay, so when we teach phonics in kindergarten, in all of our classrooms, we also have it's called Word Work for Beginners, and as they get older, using the UFly program in phonics, they have the Word Work mat for intermediate kids, which really just has the digraphs and more vowel teams and endings. So mainly we focus in kindergarten on the beginner mat. And so really, the kids come to the carpet with their trays, and we will do the same thing. So the teacher has a guided reading that we do in our book, and we'll say, okay, spell the word not, and we'll go not. And so then they will drag up the letters, and then we will sound it out again, and then we'll work on reading it fluently. And so then we'll say, I'll say got. And so they have to decide what sounds they hear the same and what sounds they need to take away. So like not had the O and T, got has O and T, so they need to know the beginning sound is the sound that changed. And so like we'll go not, got, pot, pit, bit, bin, and it just continues with all the sounds that they have learned that we're working on this week, and then the previous sounds. And you can find the sounds that we have learned in our newsletter. That way they are already familiar with the sounds. You can also go to the UFly website, so you can find the same exact things that we use in class here, I'll go back in just a minute, but you can also scan it with your phone, or you can just go to ufly.education. You can just type in ufly. And once you get here, go to resources, and it's right at the tippy top, and you can click on word work for beginner. And then it pops up, and you could actually do this at home, and the kids really enjoy it. So you don't even have to have a magnetic tray. You don't have to have letters. You could do this, and I am not certain that it works on an iPad. I know I've tried it on my phone, and if you do the QR code, it does, it kind of shrinks it, it makes it look funny. So you could try it on your iPad or try it on your computer.
You can also find, if you go to the UFly and you go to the toolbox, if you scroll down, we put in our newsletter what letters we're working on. So you can actually go and see. And then if you click on, so for example, this week we're doing short O. So you come over here, and if you click on home practice, it will give you those word lists that you can do with your child, if it'll pull up. Is it gonna pull up?
Maybe, but they're there if you click on them up. We can work on that. But, so all this is public knowledge. Everything that we do in the classroom and for phonics is something that you can easily Google, and it's there for you. And so this does just give you more examples. If you truly wanted to take the skill, like I'll say in the newsletter, we'll say our weekly goal is O. And so then you could find it, click on it, and it will tell you, give words to spell. You can stretch out, make those word chains. It even says make the word top, change the T to P. And it has a sentence that you can practice reading fluently, practice writing, really practice decoding. So yeah, just some extra practice if you wanted it at home. Give you a second if you want to scan the QR codes. Okay, so clipping sounds. A lot of times a reader that's beginning to learn how to read, they're going to put this sound at the end of a word, or even saying a letter like buh, duh. So we like to say that we clip it or stop it. So instead of saying ga, we would say gu, and clip it off, turn it off. So instead of bed, instead of saying buh, ed, we would say, I said it the right way. Instead of saying ba, ed, da, we would say boom, ed. Really clip it off to make that sound. So we say the schwa cards. The kids they kind of like saying schwa, but if you ever hear them say that, it's only adding like an to the end of the word, like banana. That's all clipping sounds means, stopping the sound. So yeah, I hope that we are sending you away with a lot of resources. And as always, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us on Blooms, and we'll hope that you will get on and check out the UFly program that we use for phonics. Bye guys.